Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, hear me when I say this every single morning before your feet hit that floor. Before you pick up that phone, turn on that TV, or scroll through someone else's life on social media, you better take a moment, look in the mirror, and tell yourself the truth. The way you begin your morning will set the rhythm of your entire day. Before you interact with the world, before the phone calls, the meetings, the obligations, and the distractions, there is a sacred window of time, those first few minutes after you wake up, and in that time, you have the power to build or break your day based on what you choose to focus on. Your mindset is not a random condition, it is a cultivated habit. It's the mental soil that every action, decision, and reaction will grow from throughout the day, and if you don't take charge of it, the world will. Your mindset is like a thermostat. You don't just observe the temperature, you set it, you adjust it, and in the morning, when your mind is most impressionable, most vulnerable, most open, you must take control of the narrative inside your own head. People think success starts with hustle, with grinding, with action, but the truth is, success starts with a thought. A single thought that either lifts you up or pulls you down, a thought that either says, let's go, or why bother. That's why the most important conversation you'll have all day is the one you have with yourself the moment you open your eyes. Now, what are you saying to yourself? Are you waking up already defeated, already tired, already telling yourself today is going to be just another hard, draining, pointless grind? Because if that's your inner dialogue, you've lost before the day even begins. You've handed the steering wheel to fear, to anxiety, to the same self-sabotage that held you back yesterday. But you don't have to let that be your story. You don't. You've got a choice, a real one, not the kind that's based on emotions, but the kind that's based on discipline, based on intention. When you wake up, you need to tell yourself exactly where your mind is going to go today. You need to take charge of your perspective, just like you'd take charge of your day's schedule. The first thoughts you allow into your mind are the bricks that build the foundation of your mental house. And if you're building with fear, doubt, laziness, and negativity, then don't be surprised when the walls come down by noon. But when you wake up and say, I am grateful to be alive, I have purpose today, I am not a victim of my circumstances, I will lead my mind before the world tries to lead it for me. Now, you're no longer reacting to life, you're creating it. This isn't just motivation, this is education, this is mental conditioning. Champions, whether in sports, business, art, or faith, they don't wait for the day to give them peace. They bring peace to the day. They don't wait to feel inspired. They command their mindset first thing in the morning. And they do it on purpose. It doesn't matter how late you went to bed, how bad yesterday was, or what chaos is waiting outside that bedroom door. You can still wake up and say today, I'm showing up as the best version of me, not the tired me, not the angry me, not the version of me that gave up last week, but the version of me that believes again, the version that chooses discipline again, the version that walks in faith, not fear. And it takes 60 seconds. 1 minute of morning clarity can protect you from 23 hours and 59 minutes of confusion. But you've got to mean it. This is not wishful thinking. This is not passive optimism. This is mental alignment. This is strategy. It's rewiring your brain, telling your spirit where it's going to stand before the world gives you a reason to sit down. So don't roll out of bed into stress. Don't wake up reacting. Don't give your first thoughts to Instagram or email or the news. Give it to your purpose. Give it to your creator. Give it to your vision. Speak to yourself first, before anyone else gets the chance. Speak with power, with intention, with conviction. Tell your mind where to go, or it'll wander into places you don't want it to be. And here's the truth. This doesn't mean every day will be perfect. It doesn't mean you won't struggle or face challenges. But it does mean you'll be mentally ready for them. And that's the difference between the average and the exceptional, between those who live by reaction and those who live by design. When you set your mindset with intention, you become dangerous to doubt. You become untouchable to fear. You become consistent, unshakable, focused. That's when momentum shows up. That's when excellence becomes habit. That's when your days stop blending together and start building something greater. So tomorrow morning, and every morning after that, before you say a word to the world, say something powerful to yourself. Because you're not just waking up to go through another day, you're waking up to lead it. to build it, to own it, and it all starts in your mind. What you say to yourself every morning isn't just noise. It's a signal, a command, a declaration. The words that leave your mouth don't just travel into the air, they echo in your mind, in your habits, in your soul. And that's why, every single day, you must affirm the truth of who you are and who you're becoming. You must speak to the future in the present tense. Let me tell you something. Life will try to pull you in every direction. People will have opinions. Circumstances will test your patience. Failures will challenge your confidence. And if you're not speaking strength into yourself, you'll start to believe the noise from outside. That's why daily affirmation isn't corny, it's necessary. It's armor for your spirit. It's training for your thoughts. It's the script that keeps your story moving forward. Because if you're not intentional, your inner voice will default to doubt. It'll replay your mistakes. It'll amplify your insecurities. That inner critic, oh, it doesn't sleep. But here's the truth, your inner critic doesn't get the final say, you do. So what are you telling yourself every morning? Are you saying, I'm tired, I'm not good enough, I'll never get out of this rut? Or are you standing in front of that mirror and saying, I am capable, I am chosen, I am growing even when it's hard, I am walking in purpose? Because one set of words will keep you stuck, and the other will pull you forward, even when life feels like it's pushing you back. Understand this. You are not lying to yourself when you affirm your power. You're reminding yourself of what's already there. Sometimes we forget. Life does that. But just because you've been knocked down doesn't mean you've lost your strength. It's still in you. You just need to wake it up every morning. Affirmation isn't magic. It's not about saying something once and hoping your whole life changes. It's about consistency, repetition, belief. You affirm who you are over and over until it becomes your default setting. Until it becomes impossible to talk yourself into giving up because you've trained yourself to speak victory, even when you're in the valley. Let's be real. Life is going to test that inner voice. You'll face situations that make you question everything, your direction, your talent, your worth. And that's when the words you've been feeding yourself will show up. That's when the habit of speaking truth over yourself will become your anchor. So stop waiting for the world to validate you. Stop waiting for someone else to notice you, love you, encourage you. Be the first voice of strength in your life. Tell yourself, I am becoming someone great. Tell yourself, I am equipped for this moment. Tell yourself, I may be tired, but I'm not finished. See, the people who rise above the ones who stay consistent when motivation fades, who stay hopeful when the odds are against them, they're not lucky. They've built something inside that can't be shaken. And it starts with words. Every single morning, say it until you believe it. Say it until it doesn't feel weird anymore. Say it until your mind has no choice but to align with what your mouth is declaring. Say, I am here on purpose. Say, I've got something to offer. Say, I'm not done growing. Say, today, I will show up with strength, with clarity, with love, with discipline. And when the doubts come, because they will come, speak even louder. Declare your truth, even when your feelings don't match it, because feelings are fleeting. Truth is not. You've got dreams inside you. You've got ideas that the world hasn't seen yet. But before you can do anything with them, you've got to believe you're worthy of them. And that belief starts with your voice, not somebody else's, yours. There's power in hearing your own words speak life into your future. There's something unshakable about a person who wakes up every day and chooses to stand tall even if nobody claps for them, even if nobody notices. You're not speaking to get approval. You're speaking to stay aligned, to stay grounded, to stay focused on where you're headed, not where you've been. Because life doesn't bend to the loudest noise, it bends to the most consistent voice. So if your voice is quiet, keep using it. If your voice is shaky, keep speaking anyway. Over time, it gets stronger. Over time, your mind starts to believe it. Over time, your reality starts to reflect it. That's not hype, that's habit, that's truth, and it's available to you right now. So tomorrow morning and every morning after, remind yourself who you are. Speak the truth before the world tries to confuse you. Be your own motivation, be your own reminder, be your own spark. Because when you tell yourself the right things, you start doing the right things, and the right things, they lead to a changed life. It's not enough to just dream. It's not enough to simply hope things will work out. You can believe with all your heart that something good is coming, But if you don't move your feet, if you don't put your hands to the work, that belief becomes nothing more than a wish. Faith without work is like having a key and never putting it in the door. The potential is there, but the action is missing. Faith is the engine. It's the inner fire. It's what tells you, I was born for more. But faith by itself doesn't move mountains. Work does. Your hands do. Your choices do. Your discipline does. Faith is what wakes you up in the morning. But it's your actions, your grind, your consistency that builds the life you keep envisioning when nobody's watching. There's a dangerous mindset that many people fall into, the idea that belief alone is enough, that just visualizing success is the same as earning it. But let's be real, belief is the beginning, not the finish line. You can sit on your couch all day and say, I believe in greatness, but if you're not putting in the time, the sacrifice, the sweat, that belief doesn't mean a thing. Think about it. A farmer can believe in the harvest. He can walk the land and pray over it. He can envision fields full of fruit and grain. But unless he tills the soil, plants the seed, waters it, and keeps showing up day after day, he'll never see that harvest. Faith gives him the vision, work brings it to life. The same goes for you. You've got dreams, big ones, and deep down, you know you were made for more than the life you've been settling for. That's your faith talking. That's the whisper inside saying, there's more for you. But it's what you do after you hear that whisper that separates the dreamers from the doers. See, life doesn't hand you what you ask for, it hands you what you work for. You can write affirmations, light candles, speak mantras all day long. But if you're not willing to roll up your sleeves, if you're not ready to grind when it's uncomfortable, when it's quiet, when it's inconvenient, then what you're really doing is hiding behind faith instead of walking with it. True faith says, I don't see it yet, but I'm still moving. It says, I believe even when there's no applause, no spotlight, no immediate reward. That's the kind of faith that makes people unstoppable because they're not just talking about it, they're doing something about it. Every great life you admire, whether in business, sports, the arts, leadership, it was built on this powerful combination. Faith that it could be done, and the willingness to do the hard things to make it real. One without the other, it falls apart. Don't get it twisted, faith is not passive. Faith is fierce. Faith says, even when I'm tired, I'll take one more step. Faith says, even if I fail, I'll try again. Faith says, even if nobody believes in me, I'll still show up and give everything I've got. Work, on the other hand, is the echo of your faith. It's proof that you believe. Every early morning, every late night, every time you practice when nobody's watching, every time you choose growth over comfort, that's work. That's faith in motion. There will be days where the results don't show, where the effort feels invisible, where nothing seems to be moving, and it's in those moments where faith keeps you going, not because the path is easy, but because you know deep down that the process still matters. You won't always feel inspired. You won't always feel motivated. That's normal. That's human. But faith tells you to keep moving even when the feelings fade, and work gives that faith a place to live. Look, everybody wants to win, everybody wants success, but not everybody is willing to combine belief with behavior, and that's the difference. Belief without behavior is empty, and behavior without belief burns out. But when you combine the two, when you wake up every morning and say, I believe something great is coming, and I'm going to do something about it today, that's when the world starts to shift. You become dangerous to doubt. You become bigger than your fear. You stop chasing potential, and you start becoming it. So don't just talk about what you want. Don't just pray for it. Dream about it. Write it down in your notebook. Take the next step. Make the call. Build the skill. Start the thing. Be willing to fail forward. Be willing to outwork your old habits, your old mindset, your old limits. Because faith alone is a spark. Work is the wind, but when you put them together, that's when the fire starts, and once that fire is lit, there's no telling what you'll become. You will never master your life until you take full ownership of it. Every morning, before the world gives you a reason to complain, to blame, to fold under pressure, you've got to look yourself in the mirror and say, I am responsible for how I respond to life. I'm not a victim of my past. I'm not a prisoner of my pain. I am in control of my choices. And that's not easy because, let's be honest, blaming is easy, pointing fingers is comfortable. It gives you an excuse to stay still, to avoid discomfort, to run from growth. It feels better in the moment to say, it's not my fault. But long term, that mindset will rob you of every break through you're destined for. We all get hurt. We all face setbacks. We've all had moments where life slapped us hard. In fair moments, painful losses, broken trust, missed opportunities. But the difference between those who rise and those who stay stuck isn't what happened to them. It's what they chose to do next. Playing the victim keeps you in the past. Owning your life puts you back in the driver's seat. Every day you've got two choices. You can react or you can respond. Reacting is emotional. It's impulsive. It's pointing at everything and everyone but yourself. Responding is powerful. It means you step back, breathe, reflect, and say, what part of this can I own? What can I learn? What can I do differently moving forward? See, people who grow, people who break cycles, build legacies, shift generations. They're not the ones who had perfect lives. They're the ones who refuse to stay bitter. They refuse to be defined by what went wrong. They refuse to let pain become identity. They woke up every day and said, life owes me nothing, but I owe myself everything. That's what you need to tell yourself. I owe myself the discipline to change. I owe myself the strength to heal. I owe myself the courage to stop hiding behind excuses and take charge of my story. Because the truth is, nobody's coming to save you. Nobody's going to hand you the life you want, and that's not depressing. It's empowering because it means you don't have to wait anymore. You don't need permission. You can start right now. The moment you stop blaming is the moment you start building. That's where freedom lives. Freedom isn't found in control over others. It's found in control over yourself, your mindset, your energy, your decisions. The person who takes full responsibility for their life is the most dangerous person in the room. Why? Because they can't be manipulated. They can't be stopped by excuses. They can't be broken by failure. Every morning, remind yourself, you don't get to choose what happens around you, but you always get to choose what happens within you. Your attitude, your response, your persistence, your peace, those are yours, and nobody can take them unless you hand them over. Let's be real, ownership is hard. It means admitting you've made some bad calls. It means recognizing where you've let yourself down, but it also means realizing that you have the power to turn it all around, not in one day, not in one moment, but one decision at a time. You don't heal by blaming the world. You heal by confronting yourself. You grow by looking at the uncomfortable truth and saying, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm done pretending I'm powerless. That's a turning point. That's the birth of change. And don't confuse ownership with shame. You're not beating yourself up. You're building yourself up. You're saying, if I got myself here, I can get myself out. If I took a wrong turn, I can correct it. If I wasted time, I can redeem it. There is no power in playing the victim. But there is unlimited power in responsibility. That's where maturity lives. That's where growth begins. That's where your story changes. Start telling yourself every morning, I am not stuck. I am not broken. I am not defeated. I am capable, and I am responsible. Don't wait on better circumstances. Create them. Don't wait for someone to rescue you. Build the strength to carry yourself forward. Life's not always fair, but you don't need it to be. You just need to be focused. You need to be resilient. You need to be accountable. That's what separates winners from watchers. That's what separates builders from blamers. So no more complaining, no more pointing fingers, no more waiting for a better past. Wake up, own your life, and start living like the author of your own story, because you are, you always have been, and the moment you truly believe that, everything changes. You don't rise by doing what you feel like doing. You rise by doing what's necessary even when you don't feel like it. That's the truth nobody likes to say out loud. We live in a time where everybody's chasing feelings, chasing motivation, chasing the perfect moment. But the people who win, the people who grow, the people who make real change, they don't wait on feelings, they live by principles. Because let's be real, emotions are unpredictable. One day you wake up inspired, fired up, full of energy. The next day you don't even want to get out of bed. If your actions are tied to your emotions, your life will look like a roller coaster. Up one day, down the next. Focused one moment, distracted the next. And that's not how greatness is built. Greatness is built in the moments when it's hard, when you're tired, when nobody's watching, when nobody's clapping, when your mind says, just take a break, but your purpose says, keep showing up. That's what separates discipline from desire. Desire starts strong but fades fast. Discipline stays even when the excitement dies. You can't build anything meaningful if you only show up when it feels good. a relationship, a dream, a career, your health, your growth, they all require consistency. Not intensity once in a while, but steady effort over time. A dripping faucet. It may not seem like much, but given time, it can wear down stone. That's the power of consistent action. Let me break it to you, you won't always be motivated. Nobody is. Motivation is a visitor. It shows up, it leaves. Sometimes it doesn't even call. But habits stay. Discipline stays. That's why it's more important to build a system than to wait on inspiration. The gym at 6 a.m. won't always feel good. Reading, learning, practicing, they won't always excite you. But if you show up anyway, day after day, you become the type of person who finishes what they start. You see, feelings can't be the driver of your life because feelings lie. They tell you it's okay to skip. They tell you you're not ready. They tell you it's too hard, too far, too late. But consistency tells a different story. It says, no matter what, I show up. It says, I do what I said I'd do. It says, my future matters more than my feelings. Now, I'm not saying your emotions don't matter. They do. They're real. But they are signals, not commands. Just because you feel tired doesn't mean you quit. Just because you feel discouraged doesn't mean you stop. Emotional maturity is learning to acknowledge your feelings without letting them lead your life. And let's be clear, this is not about being robotic. This is about being committed. You won't always feel 100%. That's human, but you still give what you've got. If all you've got today is 60%, then give that full 60%. Because average people give up when it doesn't feel good. Excellent people give everything they've got, regardless of how they feel. Let me ask you something. How many dreams have died because someone didn't feel like showing up? How many gifts have gone unused because someone waited on the perfect mood? Your potential doesn't expire because of a bad day, but it will go to waste if you let emotions run your schedule. Discipline creates freedom. That sounds backward, but it's true. When you do the hard things now, you gain control of your life later. When you train your mind to work through discomfort, you earn a life that's not dictated by moods. Every time you choose consistency over convenience, you make yourself stronger. You build mental muscle, and guess what? That consistency stacks up. Small actions, repeated daily, create massive results. You don't have to be extraordinary every day, you just have to be faithful. Faithful to your process, faithful to your purpose, faithful to the promise you made to yourself when you were clear, headed, and determined. That's why you need to remind yourself every morning, I don't have to feel ready, I just have to stay committed. I don't need perfect conditions, I just need consistent effort. Stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? Start asking, did I say I'd do it? Because character is built in the space between emotion and action. That space, that's where your discipline lives. Consistency doesn't just shape results. It shapes identity. You stop being the person who breaks promises to yourself. You stop being the person who only performs when it's easy. You become someone reliable, solid, rooted. You become the type of person who gets things done not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. So no, you won't always feel like it, but that's not a reason to quit. That's the exact moment to push. Because every time you act in spite of your emotions, you prove to yourself that you are stronger than your mood, stronger than your excuses, stronger than the part of you that wants to settle. And that, right there, that's how champions are made. So every morning, when you wake up and your feet hit the floor, remind yourself of this: your mind is the first battlefield, and your words are the first weapons. The way you speak to yourself in those early moments, it matters. It sets the tone. It sets the standard. It sets the spirit. You tell yourself, I am enough because I was created with purpose. I may not have all the answers, but I've got enough strength to take the next step. You declare, I won't just have faith, I'll walk in it. I'll put my hands to the plow. I'll build what I believe in. You own your life. No excuses, no blaming, no waiting. If it's meant to be, it's on me. And when your emotions try to take the wheel, when discouragement whispers, when fear screams, when comfort tries to lull you back to sleep, you stand firm and say, not today. Because this life, it's not about how you feel. It's about what you do over and over, consistently, faithfully, intentionally. You tell yourself, my discipline is stronger than my doubts. My purpose is louder than my pain. My vision is clearer than my fear. and you don't just speak it, you live it. This isn't about hype. It's not about motivational moments that fade after an hour. It's about building a mindset that endures, a standard that carries you through hard days, a truth that grounds you when the world gets loud. You want to change your life? Start with your mornings. Start with your thoughts. Start with your words. Speak life into your day before the world speaks doubt into your mind. You were not made to be average. You were not made to blend in. You were made to lead, to grow, to break cycles, and to carry purpose with power. So tomorrow morning and every morning after that, you look in the mirror and remind yourself who you are, what you stand for, and what you're building. Don't just survive the day, command it. Don't just hope for more, work for it. Don't just talk about growth, be it. Because once you train your mind to rise, your life will never fall.